Good morning, everyone. I'm Chef Julia Dunaway, and I'm back for another live cooking demo on the last day of the Vegan Health Bundle. So I'm glad if you're joining me. I'm enabling my comments. So I hope you want to watch me make some plant-based sushi. And that's something somebody requested, so that's why I'm making it. And to get into the swing of things and get into the occasion of it, I even have my little Japanese happy coat on. It's one that they made for us for the Fort Worth Japanese Society. So it's when we have festivals and we do things, public things, we wear these coats over our t-shirts, and then we have our little thing that identifies us. It even says Fort Worth Japanese Society on the back, so it's fun. The sound is good. See, you guys are in it now. So anyway, I've got my little Japanese happy coat on, and it's not a full length coat. A happy coat is kind of short, and they're meant to be worn to festivals and different things, and it's very bright. And for the occasion, I'm drinking green tea, and this is my decaf green tea. So this is, I should have put it in the Amazon store, but I didn't. I buy it at the grocery store. It's the Republic of Tea, and it comes in a bag, but you can also get the same brand in loose leaf tea. So I drink all decaf tea, so this is a good one, and it has the same benefits. Decaf green tea has just as many good benefits as regular caffeinated green tea, and it tastes the same to me. It's good. Okay, so you like my happy coat? So I'm happy, a happy coat for a happy person because this is the last day of the bundle. So it has been so busy, and I was looking at my crazy sheet of all the cooking demos, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I made beans and rice, sweet potato muffins, burgers, peanut butter cookies, savory steel cut oatmeal, holiday oatmeal cookies, nori spring rolls, almond cookies, carrot cake cookies, chili, chocolate peanut butter bars, Snicker date bars, curry quinoa burgers, modern chapchae, pistachio energy balls, tomato soup, zucchini soup, uh, grits, mung bean eggs, oat sausage, greens, tofu scramble fried rice, cheese and crackers from Tammy's Kramer's book. And I don't think that's everything. So that's kind of insane to make that many things over the past 10 days. Today's day 10. So it's been 10 days of nonstop live streaming, cooking on camera, making all kinds of things here, making big messes in my classroom kitchen. And I still have two more cooking demos. Kim says she's drinking my smoothie. Good. I'm glad to hear it. I see Monica, Jill, Barbara, Kim, Debbie Knight, Spice Island Vegan, Jill, and M. Pennington. Adriana, good morning. Happy to join you once again. Hello there. Linda, she loves my happy coat. Thank you. So the bundle, this is the last day. Hello, Betty. And so I want you all to, if you haven't gotten it, be sure and get it, because tonight at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time, it goes away. And to end the bundle, what I'm going to do at 8 o'clock tonight, I'm going to get out all the things that I made for the bundle. Hi, Christy. Hi, Lydia. And I'm going to have them spread out all over my workspace. I'm going to clear everything out except for the things I've made. And then I'm going to show them to you, everything I have left. I think I have pretty much everything, because what I couldn't use in a few days, I put in the freezer. So I'm going to get everything out, and I'm going to go through each one that I made and sample it for you. So it'll be fun, and we'll just talk about the bundle. You can ask me questions about plant-based cooking. It'll be just a big kind of open house thing. So I'm going to do that at 8 o'clock tonight, and I'm going to go for as long as I can handle it, until my voice runs out, whenever that might be. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I've never done this before. It's kind of like a marathon, and we'll see how it goes. It might be silly. It might not amount to anything, but I'm still going to try it just for fun. Spice Island Vegan says she has the same rice cooker in the background. Well, that reminds me, I need to turn my rice after it's through cooking. You're supposed to take your rice spatula and kind of flip it around and let it kind of get a little bit of movement. So I've got my giant rice paddle, and I'll show you this close up later, but for right now, I'm just going to take the rice, it's already cooked, and I'm just going to kind of turn it over. And I'll show you when we look at the rice that it's just kind of fluffed up that way. So I'm not really doing anything special. I'm just kind of turning it over because when the rice cooker is done cooking, then wait 10 minutes, take your rice paddle and kind of flip it over. Don't smash it, just kind of flip it over. And then that kind of keeps it from getting, gummy or sticking together too much. So that's what we do with the rice. So this morning we're going to make the sushi rolls. And we're just going to make one kind. It's very simple. It's not that fancy. It's just my basic chickpea rolls. And that's kind of like, chickpea tuna is the flavor. Really, it's not tuna, but it's kind of like a chickpea tuna filling. And so, like the Japanese sushi rolls, there's a lot of spicy tuna and different things like that. But, we can't have that. So we have to make spicy chickpeas and different things. Let's see. M. Pennington says, that sounds like fun. I'll be there. Good, good. Would it be difficult to travel vegan in Japan? Well, it can be challenging, but look at Clean Food Dirty Girl's blog. It's free. The blog is free. And she went on a trip to Japan not too long ago, and her whole blog is about vegan dining in Japan. And she found lots of places. I did see a lot of places. I was there in October of last year. I did see a lot of places that were vegan and ate at a few, but I was with 3 non-vegan people. So mostly I just ate what I could off the regular menu. And since I'm understand Japanese and I cook a lot of Japanese food, I knew what to get. Okay, Monica says, I invested in the KitchenAid rice cooker. Amazing, good. But yeah, a lot of Japanese food does have uh, fish stock in it. So you just have to know. They put fish, it's like katsubushi, it's a dried bonito flakes, and that is the soup base in Japan. It's not vegetable broth. But if you go to a restaurant that has vegan options or is a vegan restaurant, they'll have a vegetable base. So it's not so hard to eat vegan at some restaurants. I'm going to use my Beast blender, and I've just put that in my Amazon store. I've been using this for a while. Kathy Hester was using it on her show, and it is so nice and portable. My rice cooker must be too hot because it always gives me a browner rice on the bottom. Is that right? No, you shouldn't have that. And that's the reason I put my brand of rice cooker in the Amazon store. It's a Zojirushi, and it's a special rice cooker with a very good insulated pot inside. It never does that. It stays white. I can show you my rice right now, and it should look like this. Every part of the rice is the same color. The bottom is white. That's the bottom. The top, everything is exactly the same. And this is such a well insulated pot that's in the rice cooker. But they're more expensive because they're neuro fuzzy, some kind of special technology. But they're supposed to be really good rice cookers. And so I've had the same ones. This is a 10 cup. It's kind of big capacity. I've had the same rice cookers. I have 2 of them because I do things for, chef events. And I've had them for years and years, and they just make perfect rice every time. Janet says, I love your top, such a pretty blue. I can't believe it's the last day. I don't want it to end, but I bet you're tired. I can't wait to show everyone Death Valley. I hope some will come along. Great. I'm gonna look you up. Do you like the Beast blender over your Vitamix? uh, I like it for my morning smoothies because it's really quick and it's small and it's easy to handle. Let me check on Crazy Toshio. He's over there playing with his bone. My husband's at work today, so I had to keep him with me because he's still a puppy and he will do stuff like chew on the carpet, the Oriental, the expensive Oriental carpet. We don't want that. Okay, so I have a cup of cashews. So the first thing I'm making is the Japanese mayo. And this mayo is so good that you'll want to make it just to use for chickpea tuna salad, or call it chickpea spread, whatever you want to call it. It's that good. Here's my juice from my chickpeas. This is the aquafaba. So I have this brand of chickpeas. It's called Made With, and I always buy this brand at the grocery store because it's low sodium, but it tastes really good. The chickpeas are not all, smashed up, and some brands of chickpeas are really kind of overcooked or salty or something weird, and they don't taste good. So that was a fourth of a cup of aquafaba. Spice Island Vegan says she bought hers in 2007 and it still works. So that's what I mean. They last a long time. I know that I've gotten, in years past, I had really cheap rice cookers, the $20 or $30 ones. And eventually they start not cooking the rice very well. I don't know what it is, but they'll just kind of start having problems. Okay, now we're going to put in some lemon juice. So a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. And I can measure it so it looks like I'm being accurate. Well, here, I have a little measuring cup right here. Okay. Good morning from Bettina. Love my kimono. This is a happy coat. So it's short. Kimonos are all the way to the floor. This is a happy coat they use in Japan for festivals and just, different fun things. Not anything formal. Nene says, just tuned in. You look beautiful. Can we continue with these after the bundle? We've bonded with you over the last days. Here's a tablespoon of lemon juice. I am considering, I'm planning to continue on after the bundle. I just need to come up with some kind of a schedule so I can keep it up. Excuse me. Sorry about my throat clearing. It's just I'm having some, last from all these cooking demos. My voice is wearing out, and I did order throat coat. I'm going to use a teaspoon of maple syrup. This is 2/3 of a teaspoon, so I've had a little more. So I ordered the throat coat. That's supposed to be like a tea and a lozenge that you use when you start getting your, hey, come here, honey. Come say hi. When you start having problems with your voice getting hoarse. So I got some of that. I haven't gotten it yet, but I think I'm okay. What is that? Come here. Come here. He's got something in his mouth that looks like it's a piece of lint. You're so silly. Sorry about that. Okay, so I might continue. I plan to continue 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar. 1, 2. And this is just classic rice vinegar. Hi, Pam, Monica, Nene. This is the rice vinegar. A pinch of black salt. Oh, I even got a tray for the occasion today. See, my tray that my food is on is bamboo. So all my ingredients are on this bamboo-looking tray, which is cool. Then I have some black salt. So the egg mold is in the bundle Amazon store now. I'll just have to get in here and get a pinch of this black salt. I have a new container of it, but I couldn't find it. So this is my old container, which leaked out into this bag. So that's why it's in a Ziploc bag. It's okay. You want to say hi? Come on, let's say hi. Come here. Toshi wants to say hello. Here he is. He's over there chewing on his bone, wondering why he has to stay in this room. I'm sorry, bud. Sorry. Stay in here with me. Now I have to wash my hands because I touched you. So anyway, the rice cooker and everything else I'm using for this video is in the Amazon store. Okay, I think I have everything in here. Oh, a pinch of black salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. 1/4 teaspoon. Let me get a little teaspoon. Well, here's an 1/8 teaspoon. Use two of these eighth teaspoons. Okay. Is it a classic vinegar or season? This is classic vinegar, and this is for the just I have it around. But for the sushi, I have this in the Amazon store. You can buy seasoned rice vinegar, and it already has it's added a little bit of sugar and salt, and that's what you put in sushi rice anyway. You cannot make authentic sushi rice without adding sugar and salt. So I know people like Chef AJ that don't use sugar or don't add sugar and salt. They just use regular rice vinegar. So then if you use regular rice vinegar, it's just tart. And it will, if that's your taste profile, if you like stuff that's tart and you don't care if it has the authentic flavor of sushi rice, that's fine. But it really tastes better with seasoned sushi rice. My professional singer daughter drinks throat coat with or without lemon. Here, I should show you what I'm doing. So with the Beast blender, you put everything in one of the cups. It comes with like 3 different sizes. And then you screw in the blender part. See, the blender part screws on top. So you'll be miles ahead if you get one because you'll have seen me do it. When I got mine, I was like, how does this work? And then you screw it on nice and tight. Then you put it on this upside down. And I'm going to have to turn this on, and it's going to go for a little while. So then I won't talk until it's done. What you doing? Good boy. What are you doing? Leave that alone. Leave that alone. Look at this. Good boy. Good boy. Another one? Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Toshi got some treats. Oh, the recipe. Sorry about that. This recipe is in the 7-day meal plan. It's the new ebook in the bundle 21-day challenge meal plan, and it's on page 50. Okay. So go to page 50. And if you haven't got the bundle, I guess I should put the bundle in here. That was from Tall Man. That's a cool name. Pam says she loves her Beast blender. Adriana says she loves the color of my happy coat. Thank you. It's a nice bright color for sure. You can't miss it. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here and get it out of my way. So then with the Beast blender, it also has an issue with getting stuff out of it. So it's important to get this little spatula. It has a groove in it because the inside of the Beast blender has a groove in it. Grooves all around it, not in it. It's covered with grooves, actually. So we'll also, all my sushi recipes, in addition to that new ebook, I have several in my 2 Japanese cookbooks. So I have a real cookbook you can get on Amazon, Plant-Based Japanese, and then I have a new ebook from last year, Plant-Based Japanese 2, and they both have lots of different sushi recipes. So if you want to do a deeper dive than this one roll, go to my website, chef-julia.com, and get one of those cookbooks. And also on my website, chef-julia.com, I have a couple of classes, maybe 3 or 4 Japanese classes, so that you can, recently, last year, I taught a class called Sushi and Onigiri, which are the rice balls that are real popular in Japan. I'm glad the time changed back to my dog's eating schedule. She never adjusted to the time change. Yeah, I think dogs don't like that time change. The Vitamix is hard to empty. Yeah, it is, especially if you don't have a lot of stuff. This makes small quantities. But so anyway, this little spatula gets in the groove so that you don't end up leaving stuff in there. And then you can also use it to scrape it off the top because that's a lot to waste too. So I kind of get around the top and get anything that's remaining on the top part. And then to clean it, you just do what you do with your Vitamix. You fill it with a little water. Don't use anything hot in here. It's not good to put hot liquids in the Beast blender. See, with the Vitamix, you can make stuff with hot liquid, but with the Beast, it says to not use hot liquids in it. Okay, so we have this wonderful Japanese mayo, and it tastes like that, the Kewpie mayo that everybody uses for Japanese recipes. It kind of tastes like that. And it has it's the aquafaba, the lemon, and all the different ingredients in it that give it a really good taste. The little bit of sweet and the black salt. So it tastes like a real mayo, actually. So, excuse me. Bettina says, I printed and bound my 21-day challenge meal plan book. Great. Okay, everybody, remember to do thumbs up because apparently that gets YouTube's attention and more people will watch or they'll send it out to more people. So be sure and make the mayo for everything, not just this recipe. And I save it in little 2-ounce portion cups in my freezer and use it as salad dressing. It makes really good salad dressing. There's just something about it that is just good. I love it. So now we're going to make the chickpea filling. And I got my my good old trusty old Cuisinart food processor for that because it's a small amount and doesn't need the big daddy. Did I imagine it or did you mention a discount code in one of your lives of the last few days for your ebooks? No, I don't have any discount codes, but I'm going to talk to my website person. I have an assistant that helps me with my website about in the future doing some kind of bundling of my cookbooks and ebooks that are on my website and maybe doing like a special if you get a couple of Japanese ebooks or if you get some of my older ones that aren't that good. There's some of the older ones. Man, I look at them now and I think, what the heck was I thinking? They're not up to par with what I can do now. But everybody has to start somewhere. So Lydia says, I love your onigiri class. Onigiri is becoming popular here in Montreal. Do you guys want to see me do an onigiri at the end after we do the sushi? I will if you want me to. Okay, so I have my canned chickpeas. And what I did is I drained them really well and I put them on this plate and I put paper towels on the top and on the bottom because you want your chickpeas to not be wet. Because if we add this wet mayo, the vegan mayo that we just made to wet chickpeas, we're going to end up with a real soupy filling. And we don't want a soupy filling. Janet says, thanks for the reminder for thumbs up, Julia. I tend to forget it and it would be great to have these videos sent out to lots more people. Such good things to make and eat. Janet, did you get the message that I'm available mostly on Thursdays? That's a good day for me to go live with you. Okay, so then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of my Japanese mayo. 1, 2, 3. And look at all that I have left that I could use for other things. I'm excited because I'm going to put that on my salad because it's so good. And then this takes a little bit of kombu dashi powder. And I did put that in my Amazon store. It's just a flavoring. I think I have a packet of it. You can't read the label. It's all in Japanese. So all you can do is trust me that you just use a little bit of it and it has a taste like seaweed. So it gives things like sushi filling the same taste you would get if you were going to, make it authentically. So that's why I use it. Let's see, Claudine says, great that you're considering bundling the books. If I were to choose between your 2 Japanese books, which would you recommend? I think I would get the first one, Plant-Based Japanese 1. Here, that wasn't quite a teaspoon. My teaspoons are in the other kitchen. They're not clean. Or my husband washed them, but he didn't bring them back in. Here's what really happened. So that's my kombu dashi powder. If you don't have that or don't want to use that, I think this a good substitute for that would be this dry miso powder. I think a teaspoon of that would also work. Okay, that is the mighty beast, not the mini. Don't get the mini. Janet says she got my message and she'll get back in touch with me. Okay, yeah, the plant-based Japanese, the regular book, you can buy it as an ebook or paperback or hardcover. But what I like about it is it has all the recipes. Japanese too has a bunch of recipes as well, but this one is like my classic book. It has a picture of my mother in it. So there's my Japanese mother. And then I talk a little bit about her. So my mother was really, really pretty. She was just gorgeous. There's my father and mother back in Japan after World War II when they met. So anyway, when I was growing up, my mother was just so beautiful. And I would just, wish I could look like her. So I never really did because, I'm half Japanese. She was full Japanese, but I just admired her. She was very talented and smart, and she could make anything. She's an artist. She made a bunch of my pottery stuff and dishes. She could cook. She, was so smart. So anyway, I wish she were still around so she could see all the stuff I've been up to. Okay, so I'm going to pulse the chickpeas. In my recipe, it says to add everything to high speed or to the food processor, process till it's chunky, and some parts are more blended. Don't puree it. We don't want it to turn into puree. And after about 3 or 4 pulses, I'm going to kind of push it down and look at it because I've made this before and let it get carried away. And then it was like, I didn't really like the way it turned out. It was just too liquid or too pureed. And you don't want pureed stuff in your sushi roll. So that's about 4 times, and I'll check it again. And now it looks pretty good. I think one more time, a couple more pulses, and it'll be good. It's still, right now, it's kind of chunky, but a little too chunky. So we'll do it maybe 3 more pulses, and then it'll be good. Okay, now that looks good. That's kind of pureed, but it's good. I can just tell by looking at it. And I'm going to put it in a pretty Japanese bowl. She is beautiful, and so are you. Thank you, Kim. I wish I looked more like her because she really was stunningly beautiful. She was a model when we lived in Germany. My father was in the military, and for a while we lived in Germany. And she caught the attention of some people in Nuremberg where we lived, and she modeled in a German department store. She modeled Japanese kimonos, and so people would come, and she was just gorgeous. Okay, so here's the chickpea filling. It's chunky-ish, but it's not completely pureed, and that's what you want. If you let it go too long, it will get really so solid that you can't tell what it is. But now there's enough of chickpea in it that you can probably tell it's chickpea. And then we can try a little taste of it. Oh, it's really good. Delicious. So let me show you a close-up of it. Oops, that didn't work. Okay, never mind. Close-up. My other little camera here, for whatever reason, sometimes I have to reboot it, unplug it, and plug it back in. I'll try it. Now we'll see if it comes on. Sometimes it takes a minute to show up on my list of cameras. Well, for whatever reason, it's not coming on, so we're just going to have to go with this. Although I did want to show you close-ups of the things we're doing today. All right, so if anybody's watching and you haven't gotten your bundle yet, just be sure and get it at some point today. I've had a lot of last-minute people getting it and making sure they have it. Okay, I'm back to the comments. And I'll paste this. So Jill D says, Julian Plant Powered Peddler, congratulations on your Kale Awards. Thank you. I thought that was good. She is watching you, and I'm sure very proud of you, says Georgia. I hope so. I believe that. I hope that about my son, too. I think that about him, that, sometimes there are people that claim that the spirits of our of our people who have transitioned are still with us, and they send us signs of their presence. So I think of things that my son liked and that remind me of him, and my mother too. My mother was a bird lover, and I never really appreciated how cool birds were, because when I was busy working, she was gardening and had bird feeders and all the stuff I do now. She was doing when I was younger, and I had 4 kids to raise. And I didn't appreciate any of that stuff at that time. It was just like, oh, I don't have time for that, mother. And so now that I do have time for that, whenever I see her favorite birds, she loved blue jays and cardinals. And I see them all the time. So I just love it. Okay. Um, Janet said, what is mine? Janet, your award was an award for travel cookbook or travel ebook. So they showed a picture of your book and everything. You just have to watch the Nutmeg Notebook thing and you'll see it. Okay, so I'm going to get my rice out and I'm going to show you what I do with it, because this is an important step. So I have a wooden tub behind me. I'm getting it out. It's kind of wet. Need to dry the bottom off a little bit. And it is, you soak it in water. My sink is full of water. I'm going to drain it right now. You soak it in water because it's wooden, and if you don't soak it in water, the rice will stick to it. But this is very Japanese to cool off the sushi rice. So I'm going to put my rice, I'm going to use, let's see, whatever. I'll use about, I'm not going to use it all, because I'm going to make some onigiri rice balls, right? Who wants to see me make those? I know some of you do. So I'm going to put it back in here, keep it warm. So remind me at the end if I forget about making the rice balls. Remind me at the end. Don't forget to make them, and I'll make them, because I don't need sushi rice for that. So then we're going to take this rice and add our seasoned vinegar. And I have mine in a bowl. I made my own because I was running really low of this sushi vinegar. But it's the same thing. You just add sugar and salt to rice vinegar. It's in my recipe. So basically 5 tablespoons of plain rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons of organic cane sugar, which I have organic cane sugar, and then a teaspoon of kosher salt. And I use just diamond crystal kosher salt. And then you pour the vinegar, and you kind of pour it so that it's actually, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to use your rice paddle and use that to pour it so that it spreads it out. It doesn't just pour it in one spot only. And so we're going to use this. Oops, I got water on my thing. We're going to put that vinegar over 3 cups of rice that have been cooked. So 3 cups of raw rice cooks into several cups, about 5 cups of cooked rice. And then we're going to put that amount of vinegar on our rice, because we want it to have a very good vinegar flavor. And then we're just going to mix it by cutting through it. So you don't ever smash the rice down with your spatula and stir it. You kind of cut through it and then lightly lift it. And that way you get all the vinegar mixed in with your rice, but it's very wet. So we have to let this cool to a certain point, but it doesn't need to be ice cold. We're just going to cool it. It should be body temperature. So the way to do that, the old Japanese method, is to use a fan. You can get these fans. I got them, a whole bunch of them, because I used to do sushi demos at work for Asian Pacific Islander month, and I would do like sushi classes and stuff. So I had like a package of 30 of these fans, and everybody would get a fan if they attended the class. And so we're just going to do this. And then after a while, the rice will cool off. And also it makes it shiny. So when you see sushi rice, it should have a nice kind of a shine to it. Okay, Anne says, I love watching you work through your recipes and describe the process, textures. I met my Japanese friend from Japan while in college, and she introduced me and my daughter to Japanese cooking. Oh, that's cool. Gail says, do you have a recipe for red bean paste? Yes, adzuki beans are used for red bean paste, but I don't ever use red bean paste because it is so sweet. That stuff is completely full of sugar. I mean, you think date syrup is sweet. Adzuki bean paste is like, date paste almost. It is so sweet. So, no, I don't use red bean paste these days because it's just super, super sweet. It's just not my flavor profile. I'm going to get a couple of spoons out of my caddy over here. I forgot to get them. Kind of awkward reaching over that way. Okay, so I can taste my rice. I guess I have a collection of chopsticks. I got these from Japan recently, so I'll use those and test my rice. That's good. It's not cold, it's not hot. It kind of feels like it's room temperature. So remember, use a fan, or you could use a magazine or a newspaper. Of course, people don't get those anymore, but something to fan your rice. Don't use a fan because it will blow debris all over your rice. One of my kids said, why can't I just use an electric fan? I said, well, how clean is your electric fan? Because you don't want it to, put a bunch of stuff on top of your rice that you don't want. And then cover your rice with, this is kind of a damp dishcloth. And remember, I told you the other day, I buy a bunch of these cotton, they're like 100% cotton dish towels. And then I use them for things like this, or I use them for bread making. I use them for all kinds of different purposes because, I don't put them in dryer sheets, and I don't use them for anything else but cooking. And they're in a special cabinet, so I don't use them for dusting the house or anything like that, just for cooking. Hi, Jill, and everyone in the chat. I'm listening while outside trying to get yard work done. Okay, I understand. Debbie says, what can you substitute if you don't have that wooden bowl for cooling the rice? Well, you can use a cookie sheet, like a metal baking tray. I remember when I was growing up, my mother did not have the sushi thing like this. She just didn't have one. So she used just a metal 13 by 9 pan. It was probably not ideal, but we were living overseas and she just didn't have all that stuff. So I only got that, as an adult, and I don't remember her ever having that. Okay, so I'm cleaning off my counter and I'm going to use this bamboo board. So yeah, you don't have to have that to do it. I mean, it's kind of nice, but not necessary. And then if you ever want to keep your cutting board from moving around, and this is something that we had to do in culinary school, is you put a wet paper towel under your board, and then it won't move. It's stable. So we were told to do that whenever we were making anything, because otherwise you have a sharp knife and you're cutting really fast, and if your board's sliding around, it's kind of hazardous. Okay, I'm going to put the bundle link here for those of you who came in and may not have seen it. So I know a lot of you have already gotten it, which I'm very happy that you have. So thank you for doing that. However, I know if I don't mention it, there's always somebody who doesn't know what I'm talking about because maybe this is the first time you've been on one of my live streams. So I'm going to take some seaweed, and this is the seaweed that my cousin got me when I was in Japan, and it's like a superior seaweed, and you can't really get it here. So I'm going to use it because I'm going to be eating the sushi, and I want it to be perfect. I want it to be my favorite sushi, so I'm going to use a super premium seaweed that she got me in Japan. But normally I use this that anybody can get this on Amazon. It's in the bundle store and it tastes really good too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's Yamamoto Yama Special Reserve, or any of their seaweeds are really good. So, I just like that one because my cousin got it for me. Let's see. M. Pennington says, I put rice on a silicone mat on my cookie sheet to cool. That works, whatever works. Just don't put it in a deep bowl. It needs to be shallow because you want it to cool fast, like fan it and let it cool fast. You don't want it to sit somewhere because it will get gummy. So I'm going to cut my nori sheets in half because we're making half rolls. So then they're the same size. And you cut along the ridges, like there's lines, cut in that way, don't cut the other way. And then we're going to set our seaweed aside and only do a few at a time. We've made a few of your recipes in the past week from the bundle. All have become instant favorites. Well, that's good to hear. I ordered that today on Amazon. What did you order today, Barbara? Tell me what it is. Okay, I'm going to put that over there. Let me see if my overhead camera is working yet. Nope. It's just not coming up. I'll try one more time. Don't know what the deal is with it. Okay. Just not going to do it for me. Let me see. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the actual sushi. So I have my sushi mat, and it's in the Amazon store. Whatever one you get, you have to wrap it in your plastic wrap. And the reason for that is because we're going to be making inside out rolls. Seaweed papers, okay, nori seaweed. Inside out rolls, if you don't wrap your sushi mat with plastic, it will stick to the sushi mat because the rice is on the outside, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So we're going to take a piece of nori, and there's a shiny side, and there's a rough side. And you can look at it and see which is which. You want to put your rice on the rough side, not the shiny side. So first we'll put the seaweed down, and then we want to have a bowl of water handy because our hands are going to get super sticky. And then we want to have this is one of those white kitchen towels I always use. We want to have that handy as well. And I'm going to make it even wetter because this way we can clean our hands in between doing stuff. We can use this to kind of wipe our hands off because our hands are going to get really sticky from the rice. Let me move the rice a little bit closer. I don't need this giant cutting board. Okay. Toshi, what you doing? You being a boy? You're not eating the carpet, are you? Okay. He's being good. Have to watch out for him. Sometimes he'll go over there and start munching on the carpet. Swear dogs. And here I'm getting a puppy. I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, so I'm just going to get, I like a little rice paddle. I'll just use this one. I'm going to use my rice paddle, and I'm going to put an amount of rice on the rough side of my seaweed. And it's roughly, let me see what I say in my recipe. I think it's half a cup. So it says, prepare half piece of seaweed, and then we're going to put a half a cup of rice, leaving a 1/2 inch border on the top. Okay, so this is when you use your hands, and we're going to leave a little bit at the top. That's the part facing you. And then we'll just spread the rice out, and we don't really want to smash it hard. We can press it down lightly, okay? Because if you smash it down hard, the rice gets all compressed, and that's not the look you want for your sushi rolls. You want the rice to be together, but you don't want it to have a smashed appearance. So, you just kind of use your hands and leave a little space at the top. Spread it around and spread it to the very ends because remember, like the spring rolls, people tend to be kind of skimpy on the sides, and then the rolls are kind of fat in the middle and skinny on the side. So make sure you carry it all the way over and spread your rice out so it's even. And then you have a nice spread out rice. And if you need to add some more, you can, but it's better to have a thin layer of rice because, and then you use your water to clean your hands off and the towel. It's better if you have less rice because what will happen, and I see amateurs do this all the time, is they have a huge thick mat of rice. Well, then their roll's really big and too much rice, and we don't want to have, here's how it's supposed to look. We don't want to have a huge amount of rice. Okay, so then, let me look one more time. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle sesame seeds on the rice before we flip it over. And they can be black or they can be, the light colored white ones that are roasted. Your food demos are wonderful. Sorry, I'm a little late. Thank you, Mary, to this party. Yeah, these are all on the YouTube channel. And, you can find them all. They're not going to go away. Okay, so then after I put the sesame seeds on, I flip it over. Okay, that's why it's called an inside out roll. So the seaweed is on the top. And then we're going to put our chickpea filling. We're going to kind of spread it, turn it into a little bit of a log. Not too thick, but, not too skimpy either because it's the only thing in here. So we're going to put that on in the middle, all the way to the end, just as thick at the end as it is in the middle. Even push it toward the side so that you have the same amount. And then I'm kind of pressing on it a little bit so it's the same even shape all along. And normally my sushi rolls are made with things like vegetables, carrots, cucumbers, eggplant, tofu. You can have jackfruit. You could use sweet potatoes. You could use cucumbers. All kinds of stuff. Anything can go in your sushi roll. Okay, and then my sushi roll is all the way toward the back of my mat. So facing me, it's at the end of the mat. It's not in the middle. It's kind of at the end. That way I have better control over it. I pick up the mat and then I just push it over and then I connect the edge of my seaweed to the bottom part. Okay, so I'm connecting it so that way it rolls together, and I'll show you. I'll get this closer to you. So I'm connecting it so that there's not some weird looking overlap. And then I just go all the way and then I have a sushi roll. That was that quick. So I have a perfect sushi roll, and all I did was do the exact steps I told you. So now then, we can kind of firm it up a little bit. And since this is plastic, then nothing sticks. It doesn't stick to the rice. And the other thing that I learned from the sushi chef is to take the roll and put it to the end, like have it equal to the edge of the mat, and then push it in with your hand. So that way the ends are nice and even. And then do the same thing on the other side. Put it all the way to the edge of the mat, and then push your hands, and that's where it helps to have a bowl of water so your hands are not sticky. And then you have a smooth side. So then both sides are smooth, and the bottom is nice and together. And then you can further shape it by using your sushi mat, and that kind of, makes it nice and tight. And then the other thing is the sushi chef that I worked with, this is a really good skill that I did not know. Hearts of palm is good too. Here's what you do. You take your sushi mat, you roll it over the top of your sushi like this, of your roll. And then you pull the bottom of the roll and pull toward you and pull away from you at the same time. And what that does is that makes the roll really stay together well. It makes it very, very hardy for cutting and whatever. And then you can shape it however you want. So the end result of all of this is you should have a really nice compact, but not too compact sushi roll with the ends as big as the middle. So the ends are just the same as the middle, and it stays together. And the rice, look at the texture of the rice. The rice is all individual pieces. It's not mashed together. And what I noticed when we were in Tahiti is they gave us sushi and at one of our buffets, and the sushi was kind of weird. So, I mean, weird. I'm going to put my link since some people were late. Weird in the sense that the rice was cooked strangely. It didn't taste like my sushi rice for sure. Okay, and now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to wet it with my cloth. I'm just going to wet the blade enough so that it's not dripping wet, and then let the water drip off your knife a little bit. Then kind of blot your knife because sushi rolls are hard to cut. And if you don't use a wet blade of your knife, then you'll have a big mess. And then every time, clean your knife off. And then we're going to cut it into 8 pieces. And we're going to clean our knife frequently. We don't have to do it every time, but we'll do it frequently. And we'll keep it all lined up while we're cutting it so that we can take it and put it all together on our platter. So it should work really well. I have like a sushi plate here, and I can take this sushi and I can just kind of open it up, set it on here. They should be the same size, but they're not perfect, so I don't let that bother me. And then we have our 8 pieces of sushi. Oops, got a little piece of rice. And then we should put something on here, like I forgot to get my pickled ginger out, but I have sushi ginger. And there we have our sushi. And then we can put, thin slices of avocado on top would be good. Yes, yes. We could take avocado slices and put it on top of this. And we could get really fancy. I was just wanting to show you a very basic sushi roll. Now, how do you eat this? Then we take our little plate, our little soy sauce plate. And of course, my favorite thing is to add wasabi, which is Japanese kind of spicy horseradish. It's really not horseradish. It's more of like a mustard, but I love it. And I put this in the Amazon store because this brand is pretty good. It's S&B, and it's prepared mustard. And, it's not bad. It's good for a quick meal. And I'll put it with my soy sauce because that's what I do. I'll be like Tabitha Brown. It's my business. I don't care if anybody likes it that way, but it comes in a package like this. Okay, so what I would add to this is to make this look prettier, I put some pickled ginger on here. And then I like the idea of avocado slices. So you can just kind of lay them over the top of the roll. I wouldn't put them on here now, but when we were making that roll before we cut it, we could drape the avocado across the roll. And then you can eat sushi with your hands. You don't have to use chopsticks, but I use chopsticks sometimes. So I'm mixing my wasabi and my soy sauce. So I'm sure people from Japan would not like that. Some do, some don't. And then you can put the sushi in your sauce. You're supposed to make it small enough that you could eat it. And I'm going to eat this piece of sushi. And it's delicious. So there's my first roll. I'll make a couple more. But you get the idea that it's not hard to make it. It tastes wonderful no matter what you put in it. Cucumbers, avocados, tofu, chickpea spread like this, which is really good because it has that little bit of mayo. And what we could do, like for people that are the American taste buds, tend to like sauces. So when I did this, I made this kind of sushi roll before for friends and whatever. And what I would do for them, because they all like sauces, is I would take my Japanese mayo that I made earlier and mix it with some sriracha and make like a sauce, and then they could drizzle it on their plate and use that as another sauce. I don't really like that or have to have that, but a lot of people like that. So why not give them what they like? So let's make one more so you can see how I did it. And I'm going to clean my board off because I don't want rice on it to stick. Get a little water. So it's really important that you have your bowl of water, and you can clean it from time to time, put fresh water in it. I don't do it every time, but periodically. Then we get our sushi rolling mat, which stays nice because it's wrapped in plastic. And then we have our filling here. Now, normally when I'm doing this, I have a bunch of different fillings. I have, 5 or 6 kinds of fillings for my sushi. And I've made, you'll see on my website, different places, I'll make big fat sushi rolls using the whole sheet of seaweed, not just half a sheet. And you can look at my YouTube channel. I'm making a veggie sushi roll and find that pretty easily. So today I just wanted to make you a simple inside out roll. Okay, remember, shiny side, rough side. Put the shiny side down because you want that to be on the outside normally, because the outside is what you see, but we're not going to really see the outside because it's got the filling on it, but that's just what we do. And then we put approximately half a cup of rice on our seaweed, and keep your rice covered until you use it because it'll dry out. And then you wet your hands in your clean water. Lydia says, I would eat that right now. Well, guess what I'm going to have after this demo is over, with some sliced avocados, because I have some. And then you're using your wet hands, spread the rice around, making sure you get it to the edges and press it down, but lightly, not too hard. You just want it pressed down enough that it's not going to just be falling off your seaweed. If you don't press it a little bit, then, when you roll it, it just kind of is a little bit too crumbly. It'll kind of fall off. Leave about a half an inch at the top. And see, sometimes you don't have enough to get to that bottom corner. Well, just grab a little bit more from your sushi tub, or your sushi bowl, or whatever you're using. But leave your rice in the baking sheet. If you use a baking sheet to cool your rice, leave it in there covered lightly with a damp towel the whole time you're making your sushi. You don't want to stick it in a bowl because as soon as you do, it'll start gumming up. Okay, so I kind of patted it down lightly. Then I'm going to wipe the rice off my hands, which is why you have the wet cloth handy. Then get my sesame seeds. Now, we could have used black sesame seeds or white, or we could use both. I have some jars that are mixed up where I have both. Remember, we turn it over, put it at the end of your rolling mat, and then in this case we have chickpea filling. We're just going to make a little log of it all along the edge of our, kind of about halfway in the middle of our piece of seaweed. Closer to the bottom than the top, though. Okay, so now we have a nice little log of our chickpea spread. And then kind of clean your hands before you start touching the seaweed. So remember, the key is pick up the end of your mat and then roll it over until the seaweed meets the seaweed. So the two seaweed edges meet right here. It's kind of hard to see that, but I'll try to give you a close-up. So basically the two edges of the seaweed, the top edge and the bottom, meet. And do that before you roll it all the way over so that you don't have this thing where if you don't do that, you'll have two big lines of seaweed and it won't be right. It's not the way you want to make it. And then you can move the roll around once you've rolled it the first time because it'll be nice and stable. So remember, we put it at the edge and then we wet our hands a tiny bit and then pushed in the edge so that it's flat. Get it to the other side, same thing, because if you don't, the rice is kind of sticking out and it won't lay flat when you try to lay it on your platter. That bowl is too cute to stay at Amazon. Which bowl are you talking about? The wooden tub? Okay, and then remember, put it back in the middle and then shape it with your mat. That kind of makes it stay together really well. And then the other thing that the sushi chef told me to do was to pull on the mat, like pull towards you and away from you at the same time. And that further tightens up your sushi roll so that it's not flimsy. And then you can shape it. If that made it kind of square, you can shape it so that it's pretty nice round sushi roll. And then you have your sushi roll. It's that simple. Then you put it on your cutting board. The wooden rice bowl, yeah. It's in my Amazon store, and it's not that big. It's 14 inches, and I use it whenever I make sushi. Okay, and then we're going to cut the sushi roll. Remember, we want to wet our knife. I've got that bowl of water. Now we could change the water before we do this because I've been dipping my hands in it, but my hands were very clean when I started, and I'm the one eating the sushi, so I'm okay with it for me. Then we cut it in half, cut each half in half, and then cut each of those in half. And then we have our perfectly even sushi rolls. And then it's easy at this point to take them and set them on your platter. We can let's put them on, have another platter. I'll put them on this one. And if you just wanted to have some avocado slices on your plate, you could do that. You don't have to have them on your sushi. It's a lot harder than you think to have very even thin slices of avocado on top of your sushi rolls. I'm going to tell you about the rice. I meant to tell you about that, and I will. So using this method, even the ends look pretty good. Okay, so there you go. That's roll number 2. And then we have the first roll over here. So we made 2 sushi rolls in a short period of time. And we can also make some other things. So let me check on my dog real quick. Where are you at? Oh, good. He's just in his bed. Okay. He's being a good boy. Okay, I'm going to rinse out my towel, and then I'll show you the rice. So do that from time to time during your sushi, and then also clean out your water, because it starts collecting a bunch of rice in it. Not the most appetizing thing. Okay. So the rice, let's talk about the rice. I think, I'm not sure if I put this in my Amazon store, but it's on the Japanese class Amazon store. And you can buy this at Asian markets, so you don't have to get it on Amazon, but it's a sushi rice. So sushi rice is short grain Japanese rice. A lot of Japanese rice is medium grain, and it doesn't really look as nice on sushi as the short grain. So get the short grain Japanese rice. You don't have to get that brand, but make sure it says sushi rice. And I think Whole Foods and some of the gourmet grocery stores will have, different kinds of sushi rice. So, but I like to get it at the Asian market, because when I see that sushi rice in the bins at grocery stores, I don't know how long it's been there. I like it when it comes from a Japanese or American company that specializes in Japanese rice, because I don't know where they're getting their rice from. Okay, so that's special rice. Nene says she loves kitchen toys. Okay, we're here because it's bundle week, so I'm going to keep posting the bundle link. Be sure and grab it if you haven't gotten it. And now I'm going to make you some onigiri. You've seen me make a couple of sushi rolls. Now let's make a rice ball. And we don't use sushi rice for the rice ball, okay? Sushi rice is for the sushi. For the rice ball, we're just going to use plain hot rice. So I'm going to get a bowl of rice. Of course, I don't have any bowls handy. I have to go back here and get one. I'm telling you, hold on. I have to go around the other side to get to my bowls. I didn't realize I would need this many bowls. I got a few, but just not enough. So I'm behind the camera grabbing some bowls. And we'll be good to go here in just a second. All right, so if you really want to do a deeper dive into sushi, get my plant-based Japanese cookbook, and it has a lot more toppings in it. I think I have a section in here where it has all kinds of different fillings that you can make with it. Oh, Japanese potato salad. That's really good using this mayo that I made today. Delicious. Here's my big vegetable sushi roll with brown rice. That's in that cookbook. It's called futamaki. It's really good. And you can put your mung bean egg in there, which is something that is Japanese. Here's an example of a inside out roll like we just made. And this has avocado, carrots, and cucumbers. But look, here's a whole display of fillings. So the fillings, look, I have tofu, I have mushrooms, I have greens, scallions, lettuce, sweet potatoes, tofu, and I can't tell what that is. Anyway, there's a ton of stuff that you can use as fillings for sushi, which is why I get so aggravated when I go to a sushi place and the only sushi roll on the menu is cucumber roll or cucumber, carrot, and avocado roll, which, there's nothing wrong with that. I like that. But I get kind of tired of the same thing all the time. It's like, come on, people. Can't you make a tofu, sweet potato, tofu, avocado, vegetable roll or eggplant, sweet potato, something with a little bit of interest, not just the same thing, because it's just kind of, boring to have the same thing. Okay, and I'm going to cut some seaweed first. All right, so now we're going to make a onigiri. I wasn't planning to do this. I need to go get my furikake. So I'm going to go in the kitchen and get it. If my sound cuts out, when I come back, I'll just reboot it. I found your bento box class and everybody loves it when I do. I took your bento box class and everyone loves it when I do that. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to get my sprinkles. If I cut out, I'll redo it when I get back. Treat. Let's have a treat. Come on, go in here. Come in here with me. Come on. There you go. There you go. This is like a treat. Okay, I bet my sound has cut out, so I'm gonna check it because I have to click on it again. No, it's still on. Sometimes if I leave the room, the sound goes out. When I visited Japan, I was not fully plant-based at the time, but near my hotel was a 7-Eleven with yummy onigiri. Yeah, they have a lot of good stuff. And another thing I make that's really good is miso soup, the kind of vegan version. And I love that. Okay, so I have some seaweed sprinkles. They're called furikake. And I'm going to put them in a bowl because we're going to put the edges of our onigiri in that. So what we're going to do is make our rice balls. And these are the things they sell in Japan in everyday kind of 7-Eleven stores. I'll put this where you can see everything. So here I have at my station, I have a piece of seaweed for later. I have my bowl of water, my cloth, my bowl of water, my filling, and I have salt. Because the traditional method for making the rice balls is you wet your hands, kind of drip off the water, and then grab a pinch of salt and put salt on your hands. That's the tradition. And then grab the rice. The rice should be hot. Like, take it out of the rice cooker and let it sit in a bowl until you can handle it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bit bigger, about half a cup total. And then we're going to put a little dent in it with our hand. And then we're going to put our filling, our chickpea filling in it. And then we'll take a little bit more to cover that indentation, that place where we put the chickpea filling. So now we have it all covered up, and then we can form it into a ball. Is your miso soup in one of your books? Yes, it's in the plant-based Japanese. It's also on YouTube. It's also on my, in a lot of all my Japanese classes will always have miso soup. Then I'm trying to shape it into a triangle because that's a classic shape. So when you go to 7-Eleven or somewhere, the rice ball looks like this. It looks like a triangle. And then we put the seaweed on it, and the seaweed makes it to where you can handle it. Put the shiny side on the outside. And so that way, you can, the reason for that, and let me wipe my hands off, is you can pick up your rice ball because it's got seaweed on it, otherwise it's sticky. And then what I like to do is dip the edges in the sprinkles. I think that tastes really delicious. So then you have your rice ball with the sprinkles around the edges, and it's beautiful. What do you think? And this is the most delicious thing you'll ever eat. If you eat the onigiri, you bite into it, and the seaweed is crispy, and it has this delicious, the delicious sprinkles around the sides, and you can set it up on your platter. I'll make one more. So what do you all think? Do you see yourself making the rice balls? In Japan, they have these in 7-Eleven in all different flavors, and the insides will have everything from vegetable versions, and of course, what's popular with the Japanese are fish versions, not vegetable versions. But they do have vegetable versions of onigiri, but basically it's rice with a vegetable. So remember, wet your hands, take a little pinch of salt, salt your hands, grab about a half a cup of rice, and then make a little well in the middle. And whatever filling you're using, you put that in there in the middle, and then you cover it up with more rice, and then you kind of hold it, press it together so it holds together. And you can make these any size you want. And in fact, if you look at my onigiri class on the Amazon, there's a class called Onigiri, Onigiri, and it has all the supplies in it. It has molds where you can make it into the triangle and make it look nicer than, this is like a real homey version. And it's got the seaweed sprinkles in there too. So the seaweed sprinkles are this container. It's called rice seasoning. And they're just sesame seeds and seaweed, and there's no fish in it. This is a veggie version. And then we have to get our strip of seaweed. So you just take your seaweed and cut the right. I kind of know the size now because I've made it so many times, but if you have to measure, you can to get the right width and everything. And then you can just wrap your rice ball front and back. Then you take it and you just kind of roll the edges. Then you have a beautiful rice ball. So now we have 2 rice balls, and I'm going to put all the sushi on this one platter so we can see it all in one place. And aren't those cute? They're adorable, the Japanese rice balls. Look. So there's inexpensive onigiri molds on Amazon and furikake at Trader Joe's. Yeah, my onigiri molds, they're in my Amazon store under the onigiri class, so you can find them already there. And just because there's all kinds of sizes, so if you go to my store, you'll see the exact size that makes it this size. So do you make onigiri, Sam? Christy said, I did too. Oh, I'm going to get my bundle. We'll have to download it to the phone, computer, printer, or down. Well, that works. You have 10 attempts to download it. So wherever you do it, it should be fine. Okay. So I'm going to make one more onigiri and sample it. So here we go. Look how much we made in just a short period of time. And there's rice on the edge of my, isn't that cool? That makes a lot. We made a lot in a short period of time, which is nice. And I'm going to make one more of those rice balls. They are the best. Along with the rolled sushi, of course, is good too. All right, so let's do one more. And these are so simple. This is what Japanese moms make their kids to take to their school lunches. They make rice balls with all different kinds of fillings. They use a lot of different meats, but you can use for the Japanese no meat version. You could use mushrooms. You could use they have a sour plum called umeboshi that's good, and you can get a vegan umeboshi paste. You can put any kind of simmered vegetables. You don't need more than about a teaspoon. Yes, I do make onigiri with tofu, like a spam filling. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you can, tofu crumbles work really well. So I don't need quite that much rice. Tofu crumbles work well, and you can make these in any shape. You can make them round, you can make them triangular, which is what I like, and you can use a mold. So this is a round one, but I'm going to turn it into a triangle. So when my mother was dying in 2006, she was in a hospital, like a long-term care hospital. She had been really sick, and I would bring her stuff to eat and go visit her all the time. And the last time I saw her, she asked me to bring her onigiri. Well, I had never made it at that point because that was, I still had kids at home and I was busy, and that was just not something I knew how to make. So I went home and I cooked rice and I made her some rice balls. And they were not very good looking. They were real kind of unusual shapes. The name of my sprinkles is called, the Japanese name for them is furikake, Furikake. And they're made from sesame seeds and seaweed. So uh, anyway, I made my mother all these rice balls, and she was like, I said, how are they? And she said, well, they taste pretty good, but they're kind of big. And they were so misshapen and weird looking. She ate them, but I thought, oh my God, they look terrible. So I vowed that I was going to learn how to make onigiri. Okay, Gail says, I make my own version of stuffed rice. No seaweed or sprinkles for me. I put hot rice in silicone muffin cups, half filling with rice stuffed veggies, put more rice on top, smash a little, then freeze. Okay, well, whatever works for you. Okay, so this is the onigiri, and you just hold it in your hand and enjoy it. Mm, it's really good. And you don't put soy sauce on it or any seasonings because it has the seaweed sprinkles. And remember, I put salt in my hands. So the salt gives it a salty flavor. And if you don't want to use salt, because I know some of you are salt free or maybe super low sodium, you don't have to put salt on your hands. You can just make them plain. And, if your filling has a lot of flavor to it, then, you just wait until you get to the filling and then put seaweed on the outside. It's a good way to get your seaweed in. Mm. I love the taste of these with a bowl of miso soup. And then these are so good for taking with you places. So if you had your onigiri, it travels a lot better than sushi. So you could just wrap one in whatever kind of wrap you like to use, plastic wrap or anything that you like, and then put it in your lunch bag and take it with you. It doesn't have you don't even have to keep it cold if you're going to eat it in the next couple of hours. So my cousin, when I was in Japan, whenever we would go somewhere with her, she didn't know there's all these pretty birds right over here. She didn't know whether we were going to be going out for a meal. So she would always pull out a bag from her little bag she was carrying, and she would have two or three onigiri in it. It cracked me up. And then we would go, I went in October of last year, so it wasn't long ago. Every day we would go to the convenience store, either 7-Eleven or Lawson, and every morning they would bring in, hundreds of rice balls, onigiri, all different flavors. And we would just, that seaweed's torn, I'll put on this side. And we would get, a couple of them for breakfast. So it was a lot of fun. It was so delicious. Did your mother make sushi and onigiri when you were growing up? Yeah, she did. She taught me how to make it before she died, too. So that was really special. Now, I didn't make it very neat and it was kind of sloppy, but I knew how to make it. And then I took several sushi classes from people and practice. And now I'm better at it, but I'm not like, some great sushi chef because, truthfully, I just make my veggie sushi. It's not fancy. It has mushrooms or tofu or all kinds of vegetables. And I make a lot of these I make the inside out rolls. And then I make a lot of the big fat rolls with all kinds of vegetables. So if I'm going to somebody's party and they want me to bring something, a lot of times I'll bring those big fat veggie rolls. Julie says, I can't wait to make them. She says, I remember getting them at Lawson in Tokyo. We love them. Yeah, they taste so good. And so a perfect Japanese meal is to have the sushi or the onigiri, the rice ball, and a bowl of miso soup. And, the miso soup can be as simple as, the miso soup can be made with that. Remember, I showed you this dashi powder. You can use that, or you can just use a piece of seaweed, kombu seaweed. And I go over that in my Japanese ebook or cookbook. You just steep the seaweed in water for a couple hours, and then you have a seaweed base. And then you add your miso to that and whatever vegetables you like. So, like for me, I don't even get a recipe out if I'm making miso soup. I just get my pot out and I get seasonal vegetables when the garden's growing. I could go out there and pick 2 or 3 vegetables from the garden, chop them up, put them in there, add a little bit of tofu. If I have leftover tofu, not cooked tofu, raw tofu, put tofu in there, bring it to a boil, let the vegetables cook for 3 or 4 minutes, and then turn it down to low heat and add your miso because miso loses its probiotic effects if it boils. So you don't ever want to boil your miso once you put it in. And then you just ladle it out, put some scallions on it, grab a bowl of rice or make yourself a real quick, you saw how quick it was to make a rice ball. Fill it with something that's very savory and then sit down and have your feast, miso soup and 1 or 2 of these delicious rice balls. And you can make them with brown rice too. I just love them, but that's my heritage to like stuff that's made from rice. Okay, I've gone way over an hour, and so I want to be sure you have the link before I sign off. Jill says, do you have a seaweed salad recipe in any cookbooks? No, I don't, because seaweed salad that you get in the store is full of sesame oil. That seaweed salad that you get all the time that's kind of bright green, they don't even make it in restaurants. They buy it frozen from some kind of a source. And it is full of oil. It's sesame oil. And it tastes really good, but it's got a lot of salt and has a lot of oil in it. So I never eat that anymore. And as far as making it, it's really hard to get that kind of seaweed to make it yourself. So you can't really make that seaweed salad by yourself. And I've tried to make other kinds and they're okay, but they're not that good. Okay, Christy says, I have the already seasoned rice vinegar. What is the ratio of rice to seasoning? Well, that's up to your taste buds. So, it says here, use 1/4 a cup of vinegar to 6 cups of rice. So not a lot, 1/4 of a cup to 6 cups of cooked rice. So for for 3 cups of cooked rice, that would only be like 2 tablespoons of this. So it's not a lot. So try making Kim says you've inspired me to try making onigiri and sushi. Just do it. Get the best rice you can get. Remember to get the Japanese short grain rice. Get a decent rice cooker, some kind of Japanese rice cooker. Rice in the Instant Pot is not good to me. It may be okay to you, but Japanese rice in the Instant Pot, no, I don't like it. I don't think it cooks it that well. It makes it too soft. And you don't want it to be soft. My rice, if you look at it, each grain, you can see each grain of rice. It sticks together, but each grain is separate. So when we had the rice in Tahiti, I noticed the rice was all kind of compressed together like it was one solid thing. It wasn't, you couldn't really see the rice. It was kind of overcooked, I think. So that's the first thing I notice when I'm eating somebody else's sushi is, did they overcook the rice? And that happens, or they put too much water. So don't overcook your rice. And for the water, when you get your rice cooker, it has the level of water on the inside. Okay. So, like when you look inside the pot, it will tell you the level to put your water. And that's what you do. You don't want to guess it. So, just, it tells you the type of rice, white, brown, mixed rice. And I make brown rice in this too for sushi only. And then put the exact amount to that level, and you will have the right amount of rice, a right amount of water for your rice. Angie says, another fabulous class and packed with wonderful information. Thank you. Okay, well, you got to have the how to make plant-based sushi and onigiri rice balls, which I got to sample, which I'll eat for my breakfast. And then we made the chickpea filling. We could make all kinds of vegetables if we wanted to. We could have avocado, but this was a demonstration of the inside-out roll because the inside-out roll is easy for beginners. It's a lot easier to roll when the rice is on the outside. Just remember not to use too much rice so that it's not so thick with rice that it's hard to eat, because that will make it kind of hard to eat. And, experiment with different kind of fillings. And then if you have leftover chickpea filling, you can make a sandwich with it. Add a little bit more of the mayo, the Japanese mayo to it that we made. Remember, we made the Japanese mayo. So you can make it a little bit more mayo-y, add some more mayo to it and use it on your sandwiches. It makes a really good sandwich or open-faced sandwich. Do you cook sushi rice the same as white? Well, in the rice cooker, it says it has sushi rice, white rice, semi-brown rice, sushi rice. So no, sushi rice is a little bit different. The measurement for sushi rice is a little bit less than white rice. And the reason for that is because we add liquid. Remember, we add vinegar to it, so we're adding more liquid to the rice. So if you cook it too soft, then you end up with mushy rice. That's why people need a rice cooker, because it has the right levels. Are these recipes only in the bundle? Stacy, let me put the bundle link up here. The ones I just got through making, that is in the bundle, but the other way to get the Japanese sushi recipes and the rice balls and all that is in the Plant-Based Japanese cookbook or ebook. It's on my website, chef-julia.com. So you can get that anytime you want. And that has all the Japanese stuff, as well as this one has more of the rice balls in here, Plant-Based Japanese too. And it's only available as an ebook. So there you go. The next live is today at 3 o'clock. And it is peanut butter brownies. I haven't made any brownies, so we're going to make brownies today. Peanut butter brownies. These are chocolate peanut butter brownies. They're frosted, and I'm going to make them today because I'm going to take some to my friend tomorrow at lunchtime. Angie says, do you soak your rice for a bit after you wash it? Yes. There's a whole process for making the rice, but I had to make the rice before I came on today, so I didn't show that. You wash the rice until the water's clear, and then I drain it in a colander. So I have to see, my colander is not in here anymore. It is in here. Where did I put it? Hold on, I'm going to show you. Well, you know what a colander looks like. You drain it in a colander for about 20 minutes and just let it sit there after you rinse it. Then you put the rice in the rice cooker with the water, and before you cook it, you let it sit for 20 minutes. And that's called soaking it. So you let it soak for 20 minutes. Then after 20 minutes, you turn it on. Then once it's done cooking, my rice pot makes a sound. Then you let it sit for 10 more minutes without touching it after it's done cooking. And then after 10 minutes, you get your rice paddle that I showed you earlier, this one. And you go in there and you lift your rice up gently and kind of fold it over. And that fluffs it up, okay? And then your rice is ready to use. And remember, for the onigiri, Get the hot rice out, put it in a bowl so it cools slightly, but use it while it's still kind of hot. For the sushi, you put the rice in the wooden tub, the sushi, okay, it's called, and then you add the rice vinegar and then you cool it until it's body temperature, all right? And then you use it because the sushi rolls have vinegared rice. The onigiri does not have vinegared rice. It's just plain rice with salt on the outside, if you want to put salt. So that's my sushi workshop for you today. And we have two more lives. We have the brownies at 3 o'clock. And then tonight at 8 o'clock, I'm going to do my crazy marathon where I'm going to get out everything I've made since the beginning, but I still have some things I don't have anymore. But everything I still have, I'm going to lay it all out here in my area, and I'm going to show you each thing and taste it if I can. And then I'm going to put it to the side so I can wrap it up and take a lot of it to my friend tomorrow or freeze it. That's the other thing. I've got to freeze some of these soups. I have to freeze them because I can't keep them. And last night for dinner, I had tomato soup. It was really good. I loved it. I had the tomato soup that I made in the demo yesterday. I've got rice on my shirt now. Great. And then I had a bowl of my tofu scramble fried rice along with the tomato soup, and it was really good. My husband had the tofu scramble fried rice. Okay, so no more questions. Two more lives today. The link one last time. And I will see you guys hopefully at 3 o'clock where we can make something else good. Okay, we're going to make brownies, and then I'm not cooking any more stuff. I'm going to show you what I've already cooked tonight and talk, answer questions. We'll just have fun because the bundle is going to be over, and I'm celebrating the end of the bundle with you guys, whoever wants to join me. So I think it's going to be, I'm looking forward to it. I might even drink a glass of wine, even though I don't drink that often. I'll tell my husband we have all this wine because we used to drink wine. And we hardly ever drink it now unless we're having, company over or something. I may have him break out a bottle of wine and have a glass. And this is my onigiri, and I'm going to end this right now and take a bite and clean up my mess and get ready for the next one. I love these. So good. Bye, everyone.